Ron, thank you so much for joining us. What did you make of the landing? I presume you've seen it?
Yes, I have. It's very interesting that they weren't able to get the landing gear down because there is redundancy on the Beechcraft King Air to have an alternate means of extension.
So there's a kind of a backup to the usual way of putting the wheels down,
Yes.
and that failed too?
Well, it would appear, as the aircraft was, I think it was destined for Port Macquarie, it's probably likely that when the pilot was retracting the gear on departing from Newcastle, it gave an unsafe indication that the gear wasn't completely up. So that's why the pilots obviously elected to land at Williamtown. And normally when there's a difficulty there, you've got your emergency gear extension. So obviously that was inoperative, or the landing gear was stuck in the intermediate phase.
How often does something like this happen, Ron?
Yeah, look, I'm quite familiar. I'm endorsed on the Beechcraft King Air, and they're a very reliable aircraft, obviously, and primary gears always have, if not one redundancy, two redundant system. But obviously the pilot has done quite a copybook landing and got everybody on the ground safely, and that's the most important outcome.
Yeah, that's right. But how dangerous a situation was this? What could have gone wrong?
Well, obviously the situation could have been a lot worse. If the aircraft pilot is not trained in terms of doing an emergency landing, they have to shut off the fuel, shut off the electrics to reduce the chance of a fire upon doing a belly-up landing. But obviously the pilot has done this textbook style and safe outcome. But I guess pilots are trained in emergency situations, and that's why it's important to be able to execute.
The pilot had a few goes at this landing though, Ron. The wind seemed to be an issue. Was that your reading of it?
Yeah, look, a bit difficult to really tell until obviously it'll be subject to an ATSB investigation. The King Air is quite a popular aircraft. A lot of operators use them, the Royal Flying Doctor Service and so forth. But the pilot seems to have been able to have executed it by feathering the engine. So you can see it when it was landing. It was in the correct configuration to undertake that type of landing. But obviously going to Williamstown, where there's all emergency facilities available on the ground and on hand, that's obviously a wise decision.
Have you ever had this happen to you, Ron? We're looking at live pictures at the moment, but have you been in this situation yourself?
Yeah, look, that happened to me in a very exotic place. I was trying to land at Lord Howe Island in a King Air, and I only had, when you put your landing gear down, you should get 3 green indications, and I only got 2. But fortunately, I was able to, through an emergency gear extension, get it down. So it's something that can happen to pilots, and they're trained to be able to accommodate all the different types of abnormal and emergency situations. So he or she's obviously done it very well in this occasion.
Absolutely. And the plane was put down on tarmac. There was some expectation that the pilot might have chosen to land on the grass just because it's softer. Yeah,
look, that's a little bit dangerous. We've had a fair bit of rain in Sydney and the East Coast over the last week, and it's very dangerous to do that if the ground is soggy. So landing on the runway, I don't know whether the flight crew was able to, or the emergency rescue crews were able to actually put some foam down. That's usually a better course of action than landing on grass.
Ron Bartsch, very good to get your insights. Thank you.
Not a problem.